Welcome to Savor Newark, the podcast. My name is Carlos Ferrer, and today we're going to be talking about Caribbean authentic flavors. With me, Chanice Fish. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
The powerhouse behind Taste of the Caribbean.
That's right.
And how has this experience been? I've tried it. I highly recommend. As you know, I'm also a reggae lover, so somehow, even in Portugal, I started playing reggae when I was pretty young. So the Caribbean influences and flavors have always been a part of my upbringing,
Yeah.
and it's great to have such amazing flavors next to our Project from T Space office.
Yeah.
How's that experience been? Welcome. What a joy.
This for me, this is me. This is my identity, and it's so funny that you mentioned reggae when it comes on to food. You know, Caribbean food is all about culture, and the moment someone say Caribbean food, reggae intertwines with that, and that's important, right? So for us, I started Taste of the Caribbean because I saw there was a niche for it. There was a need for our culture, our food, and to tell our story because it's more than just food. It's our history, it's our identity, and we want to preserve that for the younger generation every way we can. So that's important and it's paramount. So Taste of the Caribbean, it's more than just food, it's education, it's entertainment. And as you see in the restaurant, we have our islands and we're trying to let everyone know what they're known for. And whenever it's an independence, you could come by and try that. So it's important. It's an important journey for me. This is more than a business. This is our culture.
Hmm. So you grew up in Jamaica,
Yes, yes.
and you brought some of those flavors with you.
100%. Yep.
We're very passionate here in Savor Newark. The event and the concept has to do a lot with framing Newark and putting Newark out there as the authentic food capital in the country because we really believe. And Newark's very famous, obviously, for the Portuguese, Spanish, Brazilian. Now, also the Hispanic are also gaining slightly big notoriety and expression. But I, based on what I've tasted and what I know, I feel that the authenticity is also tasted in your approach because you actually come from Jamaica and you preserved
Right.
those
Not
flavors.
only am I from Jamaica, I am from the jerk capital of Jamaica. I am from Portland, Jamaica, and the jerk capital is Boston. That's where we have our annual jerk festival where people flying from all over the world just to experience that. Like that's something we should you if ever you have some spare time want to go to Jamaica, go to Boston Jerk Festival, So yes. And if you're not can't make it there, come to Taste of the Caribbean in Nor. Our flavors are, yeah, we get our flavors from there. I was born and I was raised there. And in our little community, food is everything to us. We basically we could make a meal from anything and make it, really, it could be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Give us something, whatever we have at the moment, because we're not we're no, a wealthy neighborhood. We live off the land, but was born and raised on a farm. So we we had to make do with whatever we had.
Improvise and
Yeah.
adapt.
Yeah.
But for people that are really connoisseurs of Caribbean flavors, what can they find at Taste of the Caribbean that it's hard to find in other places?
So we are known for our oxtail, like the way we do it, our jerk chicken. It's amazing. Our flavors are coming straight from jerk so
Sure.
yes. So we are very careful about our spices and stuff that we use to season our. And yeah, we barely didn't bring in our jerk seasoning from Jamaica ourselves. So yeah, it's really different and it put a spin on.
And for all of the reggae lovers out there, they're always playing really cool reggae music. So you get there is it takes you to a tropical Caribbean.
Yeah, we have our yes, and we try to even play the games of the Caribbean. We are known for Caribbean Jamaicans. We have cricket and soccer, so we have our projector and we play when the games are coming on. So you could have your meal and you could bring your own and watch the game just like back home, and have our conversation. And it's all about community.
Mhm. a good some cricket lovers also are also the South Asian communities.
Yeah.
Is do you think that there could be a target audience for you, or you never really saw any type of Indians or South Asians there because they're such cricket lovers? There could be some sort of a community of cricket lovers.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and that's something we probably should lean into
And
because
there's also with some Korean
yeah,
foods,
yeah,
there
yeah.
may be something
Yes.
it
You
touches.
know that, some of our seasoning, even the curry, came from the Indian straight to the Caribbean, and that's something we would talk about and educate
As
more
that
about.
is former colonies
Right.
had, we
Yeah,
share in common.
we do.
In
By the time it got to Jamaica, we put our spin on it, and
I mean, it's
yeah,
very cooler.
we definitely improved our we definitely improved on it. So yeah, and that's important to me. That's important to my business model and how I want to display our food. We want to lean into how these items, these spices became important to each island and why, the national food is the national food for these islands. So yeah.
Shanice, you're the example of very inspirational, strong woman, successful businesswoman. Mm, but that is also the result of generational entrepreneurs, adventurous spirit that also began in Jamaica. So you can tell me also supermarkets can be
Right.
not.
So
Mm,
yeah, I graduated high school really young, and my family, it was always be in business. I mean, I can't remember a time when there wasn't some sort of business going on in my family. And yeah, when I graduated high school early, so my parents didn't know what to do with me. So they say, you can't go to college here because they only take you at 18, and you can't go back to school because you already got all the subjects you need. What would you do? What should you do? I'm like, I would love to have a supermarket. My Joe was a lumberjack, so I'm always doing the math and calculating and doing stuff with him. We had a little farm and stuff. We're always business people. So I'm like, a supermarket would be great. Gave me the money, and my mom was a teenage mother, so she was very young. She didn't get to finish high school or anything like that, but she made sure that I did, and I got the money and I said, this is what I wanted. With her signature, I opened the supermarket. So I opened the supermarket. I taught her everything she needed to know, and we ran it together. And by the time I was 17, I got accepted in college here. So I had to leave the supermarket and come to school. And that that was you know, another journey for me coming here at just 17 and navigating this little country girl from Portland, Jamaica, coming to see trains for the first time in a big bridge like George Washington Bridge. Well, so that was quite a transition for me to come here. But yeah, entrepreneurship was always something I was born into. This is where it took me today. That's preparing me for so much from that one supermarket. We later lost it and we had to pivot again and start over, start a new one. And we have two down there, then supermarket and a bar, and Taste of the Caribbean right here in Newark today.
so the family group is expanding.
My mom, yes.
Very good. But coming back, so how were those first years coming from Jamaica here and just seeing trains for the first time?
That was as a kid coming here and seeing having to process all of that at once was a little bit of a challenge, snow for the first time, and you know taking the train, and never knew that bridges would be that big, could be that big. And then my funniest story was the pigeons. So in Jamaica, we do have pigeons. In my head, they're tropical birds. And I came here in the winter and they took me to Central Park, and the pigeons were out in the snow. I didn't sleep for days. How are they surviving? This is cruelty. I couldn't understand that. I laugh at myself now at all the silly things I thought about it was just a country
You were
girl.
feeling bad for the pigeons.
I was, and I was just a country girl coming to the city for the first time, and having to process all these the new environment, and that those were the things that were going through my head at the time. And now I look back and I just laugh.
What did you study?
I studied IT, information technology.
Okay, so you study IT, information technology, and then at what point did you decide to have a restaurant?
It does all. It, so my main intention, they signed me here to do business, by the way. And I knew in my head I was never gonna study business. I was like, I was born into business. They have taught me everything, yeah, that I needed. Why go study that? I thought, what would be the best thing to combine with my business experience? I'm in my head, I thought, I'm grown and all that, and I have all this experience, but I was just 17. What does a 17-year-old know? But yeah, I I um I came here to study business and I wanted to do something that, could marry to be, and I thought technology would be the perfect thing for me. And I did. I went on and I got my bachelor's in IT with a concentration in project management. And yeah, moved that on from that to the corporate world for like quite a few years and came back and went to Montclair State for my master's in data science. I still, haven't convinced myself to do a degree in business yet. But yeah, that's been my educational journey from IT to data science, and here I am opening my restaurant.
And when did you know that the timing was right to open your restaurant?
So I feel like the timing was right because I've gotten enough experience and with how this world, I feel like I was prepared to share my experience with the world. I was prepared to help others, and I wanted to take that leap. I wanted to be in a space where I could be my true self and help others to take that risk. It doesn't have to be a business. It doesn't have to, align with my path, but on your journey, you could see something in my journey that you could identify with and just take that risk. So I felt like I had enough experience right where I am, and I could take that risk and I would be confident enough to know that my experience where I'm going would inspire others to take that risk. Because I feel like a lot of people that look like me and can identify with my journey isn't willing to take the risk and start their own business to go out there. And I've met so many people that are smarter than me, had more experience than me, but they're just not willing to take the risk. So I want to go out there first. I want to say, you have been at this much longer than I am. You have the idea, you have a dream, but you're scared to take your risk. I took it, right? These are the things that I have to navigate. This is how I did it. Are you willing to do it now? Right? So yeah, it was just me feeling the need and hearing other people business ideas, and they want to do it, but they're not gonna do it.
Mhm.
So I'm like, if I step out and I do it, I am confident now that I have all the experience to make my vision successful. If I do it, will you do it? So I am hoping that other people will take this lead.
And that's a part of your intention. You also want to give back,
Yeah,
inspire
100%.
other entrepreneur and a younger generation
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. So as I said, my mom was a teenage mother, and she she had the worst relationship ever. And I was raised in that relationship, and I got to see certain things that I shouldn't have been exposed to. And now I am on this journey, and I want to make sure that certain things people are aware of, young people are aware of, like, women don't have to sit and endure certain things because they have a child and they want their child to grow up with a father and a family. It's okay to, take your kid and go out there, take a risk, it's gonna be okay, go back to school, do all these things. And I want to contribute to that. I want to contribute to organizations that support women. I want to contribute to organizations that support international students and support, single mothers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. And you're always very intentional. Now, Taste of the Caribbean, Israel, you were telling me that you're also expanding
Yeah.
from Newark even to other places, namely New York,
Yeah.
next door.
Yeah. So yeah, Taste of the Caribbean, we're growing. We, just won a contract to operate a concession stand in South Orange. So we are leaning into growing our concession contracts. We do a lot of pump-ups. We're leaning into growing that at corporations, and catering is big for us. That's what we're known for. We cater a lot of events and we lean into that while, creating a experience for our customers in the restaurant. So yeah, but we're growing.
Hmm. And how has it been here in Newark? Why did you choose specifically Newark and why now in that area?
So I chose Nora because this was where I found culture. This was where I found my community, and New York is diverse. There's so much culture here. I fit in so well here, and I feel like I could contribute to this economy in a positive way. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I want to be a part of that, the positive change here that are coming in. So, yeah, I choose Noir because this is the place for me, and this is where I found community, and I see where I could make a positive impact here.
And we're talking about also support for the existing structure. There was like want to invest Newark. Emily Mans, shout out to Emily Mans. She's always very positive
Yeah.
and very supportive
Yeah.
and passionate about
Right.
Newark.
And all these corporations, yeah, we could throw in GNEC as well. They have been a vital part of my growth here in Newark and can come into Newark. So yeah, from Invest More to GNEC to NRBP to Audible to all Prudential, all these different corporations who have, invested their time and their effort into small business here. As I said, there's a lot to be done here, and I want to be a part of it, the change and the impact that needs to bring Newark to the next level.
I believe, and I believe that people like you are actually doing that. Just small is here, and there's a big intention in making downtown Newark uh, a, a more livelier,
Yeah.
happening place.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a lot of work needs to be done there, to be honest, when it comes on to making downtown Newark livelier, safer, and, make it appealing to people that are looking in, right? So we need to sit down and have a conversation about that. That's probably the next podcast where we highlight where our growth. There's a lot of positive and there's a lot of stigma around the work, and I want to be a part of that change. To when people come in, they just don't come straight into Prudential or come to the pack and beeline out. They want to explore, and we have to make that appealing. And for us, small business, it's us. It's us. We have to be intentional because we've invested everything here. So we got to figure out a way to come together and change that dynamic here. Work needs to be done.
Mhm. I think so too. And there's Newark is still unfortunately a victim of not the best reputation.
Right.
And with that comes the lack of intention in people's minds when they come to explore. So they're always like, Newark is this or that, or even if it's better, they never really got accustomed to the idea of, or some people got accustomed to the idea of, instead of just coming to Prudential and leaving, you come a little earlier, explore a restaurant in the nearby areas, and then you go to your event at
Right.
Prudential or after, you know? So,
And that's where it comes. I feel like it's paramount for us to have this conversation because Newark is a hub. We are strategically right here where we have the airport, we have Prudential, we have Penn Station. So it's not on the basis of getting people here. They are coming. They have to go to the
you're
airport.
coming. really
Right.
coming through.
They're coming through. So it's not getting in here. They are coming here. It's getting them to stay and to explore. Right. So that's where we need to have that conversation and make them feel safe here because we are really, really positioned in a in a place for success and we could make it happen. Newark is different. There's no others. I don't see another city that strategically have all the infrastructure that we have. And we should lean into that and be intentional about benefiting from what we have here. It doesn't take much.
No.
We have it. We have the resource and we need to lean into that and make sure everyone feels comfortable staying and exploring here. Because as I said, they are coming here. They're just not staying. So we got to make that appealing. And that's a conversation we need to have. Like immediately, let's have this conversation and change the dynamic of how people see us Americans.
What would be the ideal scenario? What would you like people to know that they don't know about Newark?
There, there's so much here. It's more than, I would like people to remove the stigma about and think about what are you going to New York City for? You're going for the restaurants. Do you know how many restaurants are just right here? And the experience you could have? You're going for shows and all we have everything that you're stepping outside of Norfolk. It's right here. We have you could live here for much less and the same luxury experience you'll get. So come on in, don't just come through. You could live here, you could dine here, and have all these experience that you're going to New York City for much less. So that's one thing we should highlight. People love all these different restaurants that New York has, and I speak to people, and they're like, "We don't know that." The other day I was having a conversation with one of my friends that has a restaurant in New York, and he's calling me, and he's like, You know that I have 5 people here that from Newark, and they're telling me that there's no sit down Caribbean restaurants here in Newark." And I'm like, "Here I am." So, all these experience that you're leaving Newark for, we're right here. Just Google us, research us. We're right here. So just come on in and spend some time here and just don't think about leaving, coming in and just going out.
There's something to be said about entrepreneurs and restaurant owners that come to Newark.
Yeah, we are resilient.
Resilient, and most of all, you also want to be a part of the solution.
Yes.
So you want to bring um, your expertise. You're very passionate. I mean, it's more than a restaurant. You can tell it's your family tradition.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
taste of nostalgia,
yeah.
right? It comes from a really good place. And there's a lot of healing with those great memories.
Right.
And you want to bring a little bit of that to Newark.
Mhm.
And when people choose a specific city, first of all, I think that's already a huge compliment in itself.
Mhm.
And second of all, there's a level of resilience and social responsibility that comes with doing something in an area and in a city that it unfortunately is still there's still stigma
Right.
associated with it. So it's not that you're opening in a way, more established or a destination with a better reputation. You
Right.
decided to come to Newark.
Right.
So there's something to be said.
Yeah.
It's because we believe that Newark is really on the rise.
Right. Newark is really on the rise, and I and it's on the rise with a different, I think, point of view or a different. We have so much to offer, right? You could come to Newark and you could jump on a plane and go to, I don't know, go to France. And you could come here and you could we have you met Noor? We have all these different things. You could come and spend a whole weekend and have fun from the Pat to Prudential to we have a museum, we have a library, we have all these different experience. We have so many different restaurants that you could come and have a great time. And I feel like we are like a hidden gem and we need to highlight that this is what we have so much culture, we have so much diversity, we are and we're friendly, and come on in and we will show you for ourselves, just experience more. You'll see that it's so much different and we just need a chance. Just give us a chance to, so you could see what it is. But yeah, Newark is growing and we welcome change. We welcome all the corporations that are coming in, and we just hope that it's a good thing for small business, and we make a positive impact and grow with the change.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And how do you see the near future in Newark?
So I think, Newark is changing. There's no doubt about that. And it's in a positive way. And we just want to make sure as we change, we preserve what we have, kind of thing. We preserve the people that were here. We preserve the culture that's here. We we embrace the change in a positive way and just make sure that our identity stay true, true to the newer culture. But yeah, it's changing and we're welcome change. We welcome change. We welcome all the corporations that are coming in. We just have to make sure that, it aligns with our identity. And it's up to us to do that. It's up to us to make sure that, you know, we are collaborating with everyone and they are, you know, intertwining in the neighborhood for the positive change of North.
Mhm. You're also a great example of a woman and business owner that is willing to pivot, adapt,
Yep.
improvise. So sometimes we open a business with a concept,
Right?
and then all of a sudden we're exposed to a market that is maybe not ready yet
Yeah.
for that kind of concept. So you've been pretty proactive when it comes to catering
Mhm.
and doing all these pop-ups. And you're being generous and humble, but one of your clients is Paramount
Okay.
in New York.
Yeah.
So for small businesses that sometimes they feel like, I want to be part of the change in Newark, and sometimes they feel that maybe there's still not enough foot traffic in the
Mhm.
downtown area
Right.
as we as the potential that it can offer. Because it's a beautiful downtown area, by the way, that Newark has.
Yeah.
Um, what would be your advice to, what's the best way to get in touch with these big, big, big corporations like you have multiple? Paramount is just one.
Right. So, sometimes you just gotta call them. And it's all about social media as well. The social media plays a very good part of it in networking. Being a part of different chambers, the Hispanic chambers of commerce has been a vital part of my growth here. And all Montclair State, that's my school, so they have been a very very vital part of my growth. So you leverage all the resources that you have, right? And you tell them, your intentions. You tell them your struggle. And pivoting is yeah, when you open your business, sometimes there's certain things that you didn't anticipate. There's certain risks that you're prone to that, was in your blind side you didn't see. And you have to lean on your community again sometimes, and let them know your vision, and let them guide you with the resource. You got to do the work, by the way. And you got to make sure that your product that you're selling is true and you're selling good, delicious food. And once you get that opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. Lean in, and when you say you are something, be that person, right? And when you get the one opportunity to speak to a Walmart or speak to the person from Paramount,
You gotta be ready.
you got to be ready.
And how do you put your ducks in a row for something like that? What would be the best practice? Because I know that a lot of what you do also now revolves around giving back, sharing good best practice.
Right.
What would you recommend for a small business that just probably just assume that because running a business in itself is already very.
That's what I was just about to say now. It's hard work, and structure and self-motivation has a whole lot to do with your success. So for me, sometimes it's waking up at 2 a.m. to start cooking and making sure that everything is okay and to send out. And sometimes, you're cooking, you're preparing for 250 people there and another 350 at one. And you have to structure yourself and make sure that the quality of the food is going to be the same. Stay, have your SOPs that you stick by, and yeah, you just have to be structured and stay focused because a small business, we're everything. Sometimes we're the accountants, we're playing lawyers, we're the janitors, we're the chef, we are everything, and we have the bouncers, yeah. So our I feel like our hours are different from everyone else. I don't know how we get to this everything all accomplished in 24 hours, but sometimes we manage to do, and it's a lot of work, it's hard work. So if when you're a small business owner, if you don't accept that you're gonna have to work really hard, you won't be successful at all. You gotta accept that this is something that you're gonna have to learn to pivot. You gotta be vigilant in your business, know your numbers, see when something isn't moving as fast as it should, and you should lean into something else and record your experience and your season to be prepared for the next season kind of thing. So yeah.
And when you talk to these giants, you have to be pretty intentional.
Yes.
So this is what I would envision.
Mhm.
This is how I would like to interact. So it comes from you, or you go with an open mind and let them guide you through the process. How
No, you have to prepare for each and every conversation, right? And you have to know why you're different because that's what they want, right? They want something different. Everyone could show up with, the story. I'm a restaurant. I opened this and bought that, and you have to be intentional and go with your purpose. Why are you doing this, really, and who you are? You got to be able to portray that flawless because people sense whether you're authentic or not, or you're just there for a quick buck or stuff like that. But yeah, you have to be intentional, do your research, and understand the audience that you are going to serve. Yeah.
and so far you've been pretty successful at it.
I have been, and we are growing. We're still young to this. We are still learning and growing. The good thing is that we're growing. That's the great thing about that.
You decided to open downtown Newark.
Yeah.
So far, were you expecting a faster growth? You were telling me that it's in terms of foot traffic, you
Yeah.
still don't have, you're not at the level.
Right.
Is that something that you're already somewhat anticipating? Is it surprising or expecting more?
Right.
Mm.
I did not anticipate uh the foot traffic there. It's way below projected, what we projected. And when we talk about pivot, again, we go back to that situation. I anticipated that, the restaurant would be leading my revenue, and it's not. Right. So we have to be able to lean into different things. I opened the restaurant with the intention that we're going to have a whole lot of foot traffic coming in, and that it was not the case for me. So, as I said, there's a lot of work to be done in Newark itself. I am proud to have my restaurant here. I don't see myself going anywhere, but I see myself collaborating with everyone that needs to to hear this to change that because the city is great. I love the city. I think it has so much to offer, but we need to work on the foot traffic, why people aren't willing to walk around that neighborhood and feel comfortable and safe there. But yeah, the foot traffic is way below projection, and we had to lead into different things and pivot, and that was a great opportunity to be honest, because I'm enjoying it and I'm expanding and I'm growing there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you weren't expecting, and all of a sudden you just had to adapt.
Yeah, yeah. Looking at the business plan, last night I was going over the business plan and I'm like, yeah, where is the pop-ups and vending and corporate? And I got wasn't into the concessions and no. So yeah, that was not in the business plan that I
Now, how do you come up with a plan B like that, or a complementary plan
it,
to that planning?
Well, I lean again, my community. That's is where I don't see myself anywhere else than North. My community. I lean into my community. I have a talk with investment with Gina and Victor and Al, you and um they gave me the resources that I need to make these decisions confident, you know? So
Mhm.
it's all about they can't stress you enough, know your numbers. You look at your numbers, things isn't going too good. And you started thinking, what else you see pushing off or what else you see growing. What could you lean into that will be working? So it's while you're doing that, and going back again as a small business owner, you have to think about different revenue streams for your business. You can't just think about this one stream coming in bringing in money. So for me, I realized that catering, we come in as a caterer before. So we realized that catering is bringing in more revenue than the restaurant. So it didn't take a genius to figure lean into that. We realized that the pop-ups were really good too. People, corporate people who need Caribbean food, they didn't have it, and they are less knowledgeable about our culture. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm an edutainment, eating, learning, dining, and entertaining. I don't mind teaching you. I wanted to do that. I don't mind teaching you about my culture. So I go to all these corporations. They don't know what a roti is. They don't know about a cocoa bread and patties and all. So they are willing to try these things in in the comfort of their space. So I am loving it. I'm enjoying it. It was a part of my business model, but in the restaurant. But now I'm taking to the road. So, pivoting and leaning to that and seeing where it works. So we have to be adjustable or adaptable as business owners because sometimes, how we had it in our head is not how it lives out in the real world. I get to live my dream and my business model in a different way, not how I had it down, but another way that I lean into. So yeah, it's all about being open to adapt and lean into where the universe is guiding you.
Yes, and and in a way, it's actually maybe even more stimulating because now you meet more people.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. Now I get to meet more people and share my stories, and they're asking me how I did it, and all of these different questions that I get, and I welcome. And this was my vision in the first place. This was the vision. So I do, and I did. I'm grateful for my community going back for all the support, all the education, and how they have prepared me for this.
Looking back to the young girl who had never seen a big bridge like the George Washington Bridge, nor trains, how do you feel now that you became this powerful, strategic, creative businesswoman?
I I feel I feel great. I feel I feel very proud of myself that I was able to come here as a child and feeling so sorry for those pigeons and, never seen a bridge as big as the George Washington Bridge and the trains, the underground. I feel very proud of myself to, be in this position that I worked really hard for. And I want other people that dare to dream to be okay, taking a risk. It's okay. Don't hold yourself back because you think you're just a country girl who, who have never seen a bridge that big and you didn't have the upbringing that other people had and you had to come here and take a student loans, and it's okay to dream and take that risk. Close your eyes and jump. And sometimes your community will hold you up. Sometimes your community will be, the strength in the areas where you feel like you're weak. So take that risk. Go enjoy life, be shocked about certain things. You've never seen snow for the first before, enjoy your journey. Cause now I'm looking back and I'm just for me it's a comedy act. Like my story for me coming here and the things that surprised me that was just north.
Right.
but it's just a country girl coming to the city for the first time. So
Is this something that you had envisioned, or did you think that you would become this strong and powerful and successful as an entrepreneur? You already had that plan deep inside,
yes. So ever since I know myself, I knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. There was no doubt.
and it was a restaurant. That was always your
No,
dream, or you
no,
didn't know?
no, I didn't know. I had no clue what I was going to be, what business I was going to run, but I knew for sure that I was going to be a businesswoman. I knew that I wasn't going to study business. I knew that I needed corporate experience to go where I need to be. I didn't know that a restaurant was what I was going to open. And for me, because cooking was something that, you know, as I said, my mom was a teenage mom. So she taught me, I was cooking from this bit. Because I guess she was scared about her daughter. Or she don't know if she's going to be a teen. She taught us to cook, to clean, to braid, to do everything that she could do. She imparted on us at a very young age. So when I came here, we got a store and everything. Cooking was something that my therapy. And even to now, to this day, if I'm stressed or something, just put me in the kitchen. I'll be all right. Give me a few hours, I'll be all right. I'll cook something and it calms me, it relaxes me. So, yeah, this is something that I lean into. And when I was in corporate, I was, my vision was always to be an entrepreneur. So it came down to the moment, what could I start and still hold my corporate job for a minute while it takes off? And cooking was the first thing that came to mind. And I'm like, okay, this aligned with me. And, all these years growing up, finding myself, it's like, I love my culture. I want everyone to know that. And my culture is so rich. There's so much to teach. There's so much that people don't know about it. I'm like, I should not give someone else the opportunity to tell my story about my culture. So I lean into that. I lean into my passion, my love for cooking, I lean into my love for culture, and it came in perfectly. And when those hard times hit in business or whatever, sometimes it's just your love for your craft that's gonna push you through. And I've lived that. I've seen it. So this is coming from a place with experience and knowing what it takes as a small business owner to survive.
Very good. How can people find you? How can people follow you, support?
So you could find me on social media at, TOC underscore restaurant cater at TOC restaurant underscore catering. That's where we are. We're at 4 Brantford Place and in Newark. And you could always Google us, Taste of the Caribbean Restaurant and Cater. Yeah, we're on all social media.
Any other last words that you like to share?
Sure. I would love to tell every young people out there that have a dream or a vision. Sometimes it won't be clear, what you want to do, but start start be confident that you will be successful and just go out there and start. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people is very important. Find your community. That's another thing, very very important. Find people that you think are going to support you or that you know are going to support you and go work. It's not going to be easy. You got to work really hard. So the small business is really hard work and you will be successful. Find your people, work really hard, take the risk, close your eyes and take the risk. You'll be fine.
There you go, Shanice. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you.
It's been a true pleasure. Don't forget to support your local businesses. In this case, this is the Caribbean. If you're really into Jamaican flavors, culture, knowledge, and if you just are into passionate people and you're willing to learn, definitely I highly recommend. As to us, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to follow us at plusable underscore PR, Savor Newark, also out there in the main platforms. It's always a pleasure to share wonderful stories like this one right here in America's authentic food capital, Newark, New Jersey. I'll see you next time.